Guys, do me a favor. Check your subscriptions and make sure that you are still subscribed to my channel. Seems like the system doesn't want us to get the truth out there for some reason. I wonder why. Make sure you still subscribe, hit the notifications, click all. And also, just to, be extra sure, join my Discord, sign up for Patreon. All right, let's get into the video. What's up? What's going on, guys? Y'all sent me this Ryan Upchurch interview, and I would like to play it, but I keep hearing people getting clapped for reacting to the interview. So to do it safe, I'm going to just play the audio, right? But I want to give a shout out so you could go to the main channel and watch it with the visual. Hold on, let me just take a look at the name of the channel. Tracy Lawrence. So shout outs to Tracy Lawrence, man. Let's get into this.
And taking their own journey and kind of finding their way through it all. And I'm just really interested to get to know you and find out what makes you tick and hear about what your thought process was early on. How you
guys, tell me if this is too fast. Tell me if this audio is too fast.
Got from there to here, building your fan base, how hands-on you are. I want to hear all those things. Yes, so I want to go back to the beginning. When did you decide that you were going to pursue this as a musical career? How old were you?
I was about, I'd say, around like 18, 19 years old. I was pushed into a corner, really. And
check out just trailing
I seen all these people like, doing the internet thing, making money off of it and stuff.
Appreciate the support.
My grandfather had just died. He had lost his farm to the bank because, some other stuff. And I was kind of pushed into a corner, and I was already kind of dabbling with music. I liked it. It started off with rap music, really.
Yeah.
And when I seen other people using the internet to do it, I was like, bro, I could do this, And at the time I was working construction. I was working with Service Master, installer, people like that. And, doing commercial work, residential work, painting, stuff like that, prep work. And I was like, if these dudes can do this, I can do this too. And I got a story.
Slow it down.
I don't want to lie about nothing. And I knew country rap was a thing.
It's too fast. It's too fast. All right, let me slow it down a little bit. Let's see. We might not be able to listen to the whole thing, though.
And where I was living at, what I was doing, I was like, there's so much more shit that you could say. Like, that will resonate more with a country person than the stuff that's out now. No offense to the ones that did it, because they're the ones that paved the way. Like, people like Colt Ford and stuff like that kind of opened it up. But I was like, there's so much more that could be said right now in a way, rowdier way, that'll resonate with somebody my age. And there's certain stuff that
So he pretty much added to it. Like, he evolved country rap. That's fire. That's fire. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Way too fast. I slowed it down. Tell me if it's still too fast. It sounds too fast. All right. Tell me if it's still too fast right now, guys. I slowed it down. Tell me if it's still too fast, and I'll slow it down a little bit more.
Living this life that when the other person hears it, they're going to be like, all right, this motherfucker knows what he's talking about.
Did you start off building loops? Did you use GarageBand? Technically, what did you do early on? Did you find a studio? Did you write a bunch of stuff in a studio?
Not really.
Cool.
Really, I just kind of thought what it would sound like in my head. And then I would just write the song, looping this thing that is created in my head. Then I started going to people who knew how to make beats and stuff like that.
Gotcha.
And then I was like, okay, but we got to implement strings and stuff like that into this, because you can't have a country rap song with no country in it.
Sounds
You got to have the country in it. You got to hear it without the words. So that's where that started.
Yeah.
You drinking a chocolate milk?
As you've kind of gone through the whole process too, man, from the outside looking in, the independent world is extremely different. I kind of came up in the major label side of it and very passionate about it, but I've been in the independent world since like 2007. And just in the 20-year span from like 2000 to where we are now, which is 24 years, the whole landscape has changed. I mean, the use of social media and the internet, there's so many more tools at our disposal. The labels used to have a stranglehold on all of that. If you didn't have a label and didn't understand the inner workings and promotion.
Nah, that is facts though. They did have it on lock. Going independent was a whole different game. And being independent back then, you got to shout out like a lot of the rappers that did do the independent thing and was selling independent records, and people like Master P that you had to literally sell it out your trunk. They couldn't even chart you or like tell you how much the person sold. There's a few other people that did that too as well, that went in and
have a listen to JJ Lawhorn, Good Enough Acoustic.
I got you. Appreciate the support too as well. But there's a few people that have gone through that process of selling independently. So yeah, it was way different.
You were pretty much left out to dry.
Yeah.
Now, the day that we live in now, we have so much access to so many other tools that can help us reach our target audience, man. It's amazing the things that we have at our disposal. And I've seen it change a lot over the last several years, man. What's your biggest format? Is it Instagram? Where do you get the most traction out there?
I would say probably YouTube and Spotify?
Yeah. I mean, that's where I found all your stuff. I mean, I discovered you several years ago on YouTube. I'm a YouTube junkie. I really don't look, I don't get on anything else, but YouTube is where I go, man. So
Dude, that's cool, bro. The legendary country singers be finding out. That's cool.
I mean, I follow a lot of people. I mean, what's the girl down out of the cat,
oh God. I love her.
Hannah Barron. I mean, I follow all kinds of stuff.
Hannah from Alabama?
Yeah, she's Hannah, man.
I haven't heard of that
That's a
person.
country girl right there, bro.
Catch some catfish. Yeah, she is hardcore, man.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm always searching for left of center eclectic things because I kind of consider myself a little left anyway. Not politically, but
Yeah. I ain't gonna lie, bro. I don't know nothing about politics.
that's a good thing. We don't have to talk about none of that.
I mean, we can. I probably won't know nothing.
Right. What's going on?
Well, it's best because our opinion doesn't really matter anyway these days.
Shoot, hey, if it's in the front yard, then I know about it.
He says,
British
fine
are
for
coming.
you,
The
but
British
you
are
listen to stuff fast.
One if by
Me
land,
too.
two if by sea.
A Yoo-hoo?
So I guess you're a big
I ain't
history
had
buff,
a
though.
Yoo-hoo in years, bro. I'm talking forever, bro. Like a long time. I ain't had a strawberry milk either in a minute too, as well. Right? Like I used to rock with those back in the day. You get to like the server up, pour it in the milk, shake it up type stuff, stir it. That thing used to be banging.
So you go down a lot of
And
rabbit
then
holes.
you
Here and there,
go and buy that.
Tell
Yeah.
me a good one. Let's find a good one.
I don't think aliens are real, bro.
You don't think aliens are real?
Mm-mm.
You don't think there's a hole in Antarctica where there's a whole other group of people living in the center of the earth?
I think we done seen them already, bro. And I think
I
a
don't know
redneck
those
would done
big
got
aliens.
Bigfoot.
What about the Anunnaki? You,
Hey, maybe it's so far back. I don't even know what color underwear I got on right now, and that was this morning. So you talking millions of years ago?
Wow.
I ain't got a clue. My teachers didn't even teach right. So
I
True.
get bored, man. I mean, I can spend
Teachers
hours
don't
going down
teach
some of the
right.
strangest
I will
rabbit
give you
holes and
that.
finding all kinds of weird stuff out there. And before they started clamping down on all that, after 2020. Everything changed. Like everybody that I followed on YouTube got shut down.
Oh, bro.
Everything. I mean, everybody
All
I
right,
followed.
let me
got
slow
shut
it down,
It all
guys.
went away, and none of the.
I didn't know it's only sped up to like literally 25% more. So let me turn it. I don't want to scare people off at it being so so I will listen to the whole thing slow on regular speed for you guys. If me speeding up just a little bit is scaring you off. So I slowed it down. It's on normal speed now, guys. My bad. Yo, my bad. It was on 1.25. Now it's on 1, which is normal speed. My bad.
I mean, I have a hard time finding things that really interest me.
yeah,
Normal speed.
I've been doing a lot of history, watching a lot of history, but not on your normal history platforms like History Channel.
No, I didn't know you
Or
didn't
like,
have
yeah,
no
I've been
connection.
finding like documentaries and stuff from the 40s.
That's crazy.
Stuff like that are on like actual
You couldn't tell it was
real
sped up.
camera. So
I forgot
So
it was sped up.
just stuff on
Until I
YouTube
seen a bunch of people saying that they leave it
yeah,
because
it's
it
kind
was
of like
sped up.
old C-SPAN stuff and shit they don't want you to see.
Yeah, I
Then you
slowed it
see it and
down.
you're like, wait a minute, this doesn't
fine.
this
Hey,
don't match up with what
It's
we
for the
know now.
viewers'
What's over
experience,
there?
bro.
Yeah,
You know
but
what I
there's a
mean?
whole lot of
It's for the viewers' experience. If you guys are saying that y'all uncomfortable listening to it sped up, I'ma slow it down. It's not a problem at all.
There's a lot of things that don't
Know what I
match
mean?
up with what's going on now.
Why is that?
Man, I don't know. I think
What do you think about MK Ultra?
I think it's very real.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely. I believe MK Ultra is real, and I think it started a long time ago. The CIA was doing all that
Oh,
stuff. and I
damn.
believe it's very prevalent out in Hollywood. I mean,
Y'all just gonna talk about this on
I
YouTube?
think it's like one of those tools that nobody used to have, and now everyone has access to it, so people can kind of use it however they want.
Well, they just understand there's so
So
much
it's the
that's
NY
understood in
and
the
us,
world that
yeah.
we live in now.
I listen to
There's
everything
terms for
double
it,
speed,
like,
bro.
bipolar
Everything.
and schizophrenia. There's
When
all
I
that
watch
stuff right now, and
Netflix-
a lot of it is about introducing
Watch
trauma
everything
at
sped
an
up.
early age and being able to split those personalities. Did you ever watch that movie freaking Split? Was it not Tom Hardy? What was in it? Where he had like 20-something personalities.
Yeah, that
This
came
is
out
the craziest
recently.
crap I ever saw.
There you go.
But there's some. I mean, I really believe that it's real. That
No, that's a real thing.
if you introduce trauma to people at certain stages of their life, you can actually block certain parts of their personality out. I believe they've done intense studies,
Colors?
meditation, all that stuff.
Color spectrum,
Yeah.
flashes, light.
Well,
there's all kinds of stuff.
strobes. I mean, that stuff can put you into a seizure
Oh yeah.
or induce trauma. I mean, it can.
That's
do
why I don't use UV, the color UV at my
That's
shows,
crazy.
or infrared. Never.
If that's
Gives
true,
you headaches.
that's wild.
Really?
And if you look on the color spectrum, red is all the way to the left, UV is all the way to the right. That's why your screen on your phone actually keeps you awake.
Could not tell it was sped up.
The color of the LED releases
There's certain people, they have an ear for it to where they can tell. Like, shoot, but me personally, I'll be listening to things sped up all the time. Right, normal speed sounds slow.
Chemical in your brain that will keep you awake.
But that's just because I'm always listening to stuff sped up. So, but it's all good. What I might do now is I might just start skimming through certain parts and seeing.
But I'm blind. I got to have everything bright still when I turn my stuff.
What part was
I'm bad about
cooking at?
I got my earbuds, things, man, and I will put one in my ear when I go to bed, and I try to find something that's about an hour long.
Yeah, Split is part of a trilogy.
Split
is the part one.
It's like
Split is a part
go to sleep. So I'm finding stuff, old history stuff, but I like longer clips that I can kind of go to sleep to, and then.
Can I suggest you something?
Yeah,
ruined it.
When you go to sleep next time, if you want to go to sleep real fast, type in MHZ on YouTube and find 423 or 426 megahertz.
That's right above.
You'll be asleep in 10 minutes.
They say that those frequencies have a lot to do with stuff too, man.
Oh yeah,
but you can go up because 420 is what everything is tuned to music wise in the studio. Everything we do is 420, and I think I'm sorry, 440. But I
420 is fine.
I think they were talking about you could drop down to 420 or 430, and it's a much more soothing thing that's supposed to.
Hey, if anyone wants to call in on Discord real quick, especially if they have disagreements, you're more than welcome to. You know what I mean? Call in. We can have a civilized conversation if you want. But if you that butthurt that you're crying while I'm reacting to an interview, that just shows a lot.
To be conducive of creativity and less.
I'm still be here crying while you're
beats as well,
watching an interview.
Frequency each ear. It's literally like a brain massage.
And then your
you're calling them. Tell me what your complaint is. But other than that, that's the last time I acknowledge you.
I know, and I'm also colorblind. Yeah.
I actually, before my music gets mastered and put out to everybody, I make sure that it's not on a megahertz that is harmful in any type of way and stuff like that. Like that's how far we'll be diving into this shit now.
I'll be dying. Look at that. Hey. That's pretty interesting, bro.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of stuff with sound, man. Like there's a certain frequency that you can put in a song that is not harmful, really, if you just use it for a second.
Who was the one that actually came up with 440 being standard tuning for everything?
I think wasn't it the Germans?
I think it might have been.
Yeah.
Well, there's your problem.
I've never heard any of this.
But I asked that because I've seen a lot of stuff.
I need to get a timestamp. I'm gonna need to get a timestamp. They are cooking, and I do want to hear this, but I don't want to react to the full video. I got to get a timestamp. If anyone has a timestamp, let me know. But I don't want to listen to the whole thing in full, especially when I can't even show the visual.
About how those different frequencies have different effects on your mood. And see,
but
things
if you got
like
any
that,
timestamps or key moments,
it's just like the way the music industry now. Everything is so hard tuned that the vocals all sound the same. Oh, and if you can pick out the top 10 songs last year, and most of them are exactly the same freaking tempo. A lot of them are in the same key. You can go from the one to the next one, and it's just all this place. It's all right there. Where did all the personality and
I listen to White Noise, but I never heard
dynamics of the format
sleep
go.
frequency.
Yes, bro. Yes.
Itself,
like,
that's
dude,
fire.
You can listen to a song now, and like on the radio, to standard radio in somebody's car. I can't really make the lyrics out in a country song right now. Not one that's on the radio. Alan Jackson, Clay Walker, Jimmy Martin, that's the dynamic. That was the dynamic era. That's when you had to have a special voice.
Well, if you look, when we finish a record now, since we went from tape machines to Pro Tools, when I do a demo, you'll be able to see the dynamic in the graph at the bottom when you get that in the graph. And then by the time you get through that, when you cut a master on it, you're going through rough mixes, there's still a bit of movement. When you get the master mix finished, then it's going to be almost peaking out. By the time you get to mastering, there's nothing in there, but it's all the way, there's nothing there. There's no dynamic. Everything is slammed all the way to the top of the threshold, and it's sucked all the life out of it, to me anyway. There's no vocal personality. It's so tuned that any of those little nuances and things that George Jones used to do, all that would be gone. If you went back in and tuned George Jones to what the graph showed you, somebody that didn't tune by ear, that really felt pitch and felt what emotion was in a song, it would sound like crap, bro.
That's what I was saying. It depends on the mix.
It really would. And recently,
like with me, I mix based on like emotion and sound. So when I'm doing a mix and a master, for one, I'm going to listen to it 1,000 times in 1,000 different places. I want to hear how it sounds on a car, how it sounds on a TV, how it sounds on a stereo, in your headphones, on different types of headphones that are flat, right? If you really get into mixing and mastering, like you really got to experiment and do all this type of stuff. But I do it based on feeling, especially because when I mix my music, I like to do a lot of like aggressive drums and like heavy bass lines. So when you're mixing that, they would tell you to level it a certain way. And I don't do none of that. I go based off of like the feeling. So if the song feeling, the bass line is like the main thing and I want that to be a standout, I will have that cranked up louder than a damn vocal or as high as the vocal if it needs to be. And then when I'm mastering, I can balance it out a little bit more in the way it's not overbearing. But if you're just going based off textbook, man, you are taking like the whole soul out of it, right? And I could tell that the first time I started paying for mixing, when I was like going to the studio as like a teenager, and I would pay the extra money to get it mixed, and I'd be like, yo, why does it sound like that? Nobody understood what I was talking about until I started like learning how to mix and master and getting, and I'm like, okay, they're doing the most basic textbook mix that take like 20 to 30 minutes max and just shoving it just out, just throwing it out there. It has no real like care. And then I would hear them mix stuff for the artists that was signed to their production company. And I'm like, nigga, the difference, right? You could tell that you sat here and it took hours. Like you was really diving into it. You know what I mean?
It's funny you say that because B, what was it? 2 years ago, Heavier Rain. I seen another country singer and they were like, you know the saying, 3 chords and the truth.
Labels do have a formula.
No, you could do it with 2 chords and a true story. And we did. Hey. And it trended for a week, and it's one of my biggest country songs in the past 2 years, and it's a rough draft.
Guitars and Cadillacs is 2 chords.
Amen, bro.
I'm telling you, man.
So the simpler the better. They've overcomplicated everything.
Think about like Prince got a song that was at the top of the R&B charts, and it has no bass line in it. Like at all, bro. I think that was When Doves Cry. That ain't got no bass line.
Dang.
And what irritates me the most is that when you hard tune and you slam up everything like that, all those little things where you flow through. And here's another thing, and I've had to adapt to this.
They making some good records
when we go in, we talk about all this stuff. You want the dynamic in the band, and you wanted the band to play through those things. Nowadays, everybody's programmed to where dynamics are created by adding and taking away in the mix.
Yes.
They're not done by letting the band build and crescendo and suck back. It's just, it bothers me.
He's right.
It should bother you. And that's good that it does. And knowing that it does bother you, honestly, makes me happy. Because it's like, okay, they really do care about the sound.
Absolutely.
The ones that paved the way in my lifetime, they did care about the sound. Because now they don't, bro. Like,
but how much of it? Here's the problem, and we can all blame artists. We can go down that road that all these new artists don't understand. Too. The problem is the labels are dictating that everything has to be turned into a record.
Did I just say that? I just said that. I blame the labels, and what did he say right after that? He's cooking. This dude, Tracy Lawrence, know what he's talking about.
All it's turned in, and they will send it back and say, turn that vocal up, compress this harder. And then by the time you go through mix compression, master compression, then you send it out to radio, they're going to compress the crap out of it one more time. By the time it gets to radio, everybody sounds the same.
And this is why I had to sped up, because I know I'm going to pause it for a lot of the points. Man, there's like a lot of times where I've sent things to labels back when I was trying to be involved in the industry back in the day, right? As like a producer and songwriter. And I would send things and they would tell me to do it this way. And then I had a meeting with one executive that told me the truth and was like, these guys don't know what the hell they talking about. They don't know what they want. They have like the standard for what they think is the most polished, but those are usually not the most standout records, right? And you don't know it until you hear it. So like if they hear something that's mixed differently, right? They don't know it's going to be a hit. They don't know. They don't know what people are going to connect to within that joint. It takes someone who has actual passion for it to just like have a leap of faith. So yeah, even down to the mixing of the record, right? Like you should always pick an engineer or somebody that cares about that joint, that takes like that as an art craft, like it's an art form, you know what I mean? Or just learn how to do it yourself, and then you could really get into the mixing and mastering process, which I highly recommend as for any artist.
And I remember waking up for school,
learn how to mix, learn how to
2008, 2007, And every morning I would turn on CMT Top 20 and listen to it while I was getting ready for school. You know what I mean?
Smoke while listening to this.
You wanted to wake up and turn on CMT.
Oh, yeah.
To hear, because you got to see the new video. You got to see the new song or whatever. And even it wasn't that long ago that a song meant more than it does now.
Yeah, it did. But nowadays, and I use my children as my barometer on that. I got a 20 and a 22-year-old. I remember being excited and waiting for the next album release from my favorite artist. I mean, the next Merle Haggard record that was coming out, the next Ronnie Millsap record that was coming out, and having to go to the store and we're sold out. You got to come back in 2 weeks, man. And you had to wait for the record company to come in and see which ones had sold. Then they turned the order in, so it was 2 weeks before you get restocked. Yeah. Now everything goes through a register and comes back. But my point being, kids have access to everything in their phones, so they don't anticipate anything like we used to. Yep. And I think it's taken the specialness of music away from what we do. Now, there are a lot of purists and people that are trying to really bring that back. And I think there are some people that understand that really are passionate about it. But I'll go back to what I said before. You know, a lot of the record labels.
It's all generic now, bro. They got like a whole format. Like there are labels, and I seen you guys saying it in the chat. They got like a whole formula. The way they just know, okay, this is what's going to be a top charting thing. Sometimes they don't know, though. They don't know. But they just go based off this formula for what's like most likely to happen. But the real hits, the ones that last forever, are the ones that don't go based off no formula, and you just let the artist cook. That's how art was done back in the day, fam. That's how music was done. Let the artist
complete control over all that stuff.
Let them just
and that's
get
why
some
I've
studio
enjoyed
time
being on the other side of my label and my commercial career so much more. I'm glad that I had the body of work, and I'm glad that I got to have it in a time where I still had creative control and I was able to make the music that I wanted to make, because I have to sing it the rest of my life. But I also enjoy this place that I'm at now, where I don't have to answer or behold anybody.
Right. And man, dude, the time span too. You got, if you ask me, it's like you got the best of both of those worlds.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You know, that was if you ask me, I think the 2000s was the last of the good country music.
So think about this. Go back to 1989. I was living in Louisiana playing in a circuit band.
Had to light up,
and
bro.
That was the year that changed my life. I was a Merle Haggard fan, Waylon Jennings fan, Willie Nelson, you know, all that stuff. I mean, Dwight Yoakam, you know, Randy Travis, all that stuff from the 80s. George Strait, huge George Strait fan. But in 89, Mark Chestnut came out, Alan Jackson came out, Travis Tritt came out, Vince Gill came out. You had Clint Black. I mean, so you got all these guys, and music changed for me right then, because everything went to a different place. And that was when I decided right then. I moved to Nashville the next year, because everything was getting younger and it was picking up speed, and there was so much energy in the town, and and everybody had their own place. You know, we were all proud. I was proud that Chestnut was having hits, and I was proud that Joe Diffie was having hits, and they were proud for me, and Bird were tight, and all these guys, there was so much camaraderie.
Sound like a good
it's got
time.
so corporate now, man.
I was going fishing though.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
But we were sharing things, and everybody had their own place.
Yes.
And there wasn't the animosity like there seems to be. We didn't feel that way. We loved to see each other when we had shows together. We'd hang out on each other's bus and go party together.
Yes. And you know why I think that is, personally? I mean, I wasn't there, but I think it's because y'all all knew for a fact y'all were chosen because y'all had a special talent and a special sound, bro. Like you could take somebody that ain't worth a shit now and make them a star with all the stuff we talked about with the sound stuff. That's 100%. Why when you hear somebody sing live, it's like, it's like, are they doing vocal warm-ups? No.
But there's such a problem when you hard tune everything like that.
You're not lying.
I'm not capable of reproducing that live, because that's not the way I sing.
Right.
And when you go out and hear somebody that's been over-processed like that, it's really hard to reproduce, because there's certain things that each of our voices don't do. I mean, we have a natural thing and a flow and a way. I'm bad about sliding up on notes. If you hard tune me up to where it's just hitting that note hard, and that's not the way I sing.
Yeah.
You know?
It's hard to get that, and it tricks you. It tricks your brain. Like, when you're sitting there trying to sing with that hard tune, you are overshooting or undershooting, and it's still not hitting where you want to. And then you're like, dude, turn that shit off.
There's this phenomenon going on now where these kids are hearing all these hard-tuned vocals on the radio, or they're Snapchat.
And they're learning to sing like
they're learning
that.
to sing like
that. Weirds me out,
crazy,
dude.
man. They already sound like robots.
So do you feel like there's a fine balance? You know, guys like Jack White that is so
hilarious.
old school that won't use any digital stuff, still tapes on tape machine.
When it comes to the digital stuff, I know how to use it, right? And then if you hear some of my songs, I have tuned it, right? Because I've learned how to use the tuning software as an instrument within itself. But the problem with that is when you do sing without it, it's not going to sound like that, right? So like if I was to sing one of my songs where I did tune it, yeah, I can sing it. But when people wonder why I'm like a whole octave below the normal tone for how they hear it when it's recorded, they're like, I didn't know your voice was so low, Beast Boy. Yes, I'm a baritone. But there are certain songs where I sing high as hell, and then I tune it to fix some of the errors, right? Can I sing high like that in real life? Yeah, but I will be messing up. I let you know that. I could probably get off a good maybe 3 bars. And then it's going to be a mess. I'm going to do something with the pitch where it's going to be, not used to singing in that tone. Let me bring it back down. But me doing a combination of like literally 1,000 vocal exercises and mastering my voice, I'm able to do way better now. So like within the last 2 years, all the R&B songs and songs of me singing, nigga, that's my voice. If there's any tuning to it, it's so minimum that I could turn it off and not notice. In fact, the last 3 songs with me singing, fam, I thought that was tuned and then realized that I didn't have the effect on. I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. And was highly impressed with myself. So I just left it. Right. But yeah, that is something without me saying like I'm used to something. It's just learning how to actually master your voice and letting it be more natural, right? If you do use any tuning effect, don't have it cranked up to 100. These kids nowadays, they'll have it literally cranked up to 100. Max, you should have it at 30, 40 maybe, right? So where it's not changing your voice, but like trying to listen for small errors to where if your voice cracks or you're off note for like one thing, but you should be vocal training to make sure that that's like happens the least amount of times. Nigga. It should be a chart that look like a lie detector test where it tells you when you messed up and when it correct. And that shit should have like 3 errors on it throughout the whole song. Nigga. That's how it should be. Right? That shit should have corrected you no more than 5 times. No more. It should be probably not even that many times, if we're being honest. Mariah Carey get corrected none. Right? So depends.
Is all tube amps and all the tube processors and things. There's guys like that, but there's a balance in there somewhere.
Oh, bro.
How you pronounce that? Melodine?
Go back to the
Melodyne?
90s grunge rock era.
Yeah,
Like Lane Staley from Alice in Chains. Like, bro, you got to think, like, those guys, first off, they were openly like, I do all this shit and I don't care.
1 week.
Right, regardless of whatever they're doing, it ain't my fucking business. They're being truthful about it.
It's better if the artist literally turns whatever auto tune or wave tune. That's what I use, wave tune. I use wave tune live, right? Which is different because you got to know how to sing in order for it to work. Right? I leveled up to wave tune live to where I have to sing into it live and then hit certain things. It's like an instrument, right? And I can turn it off and still do the same things, right? But I prefer wave tune live as my selection, right? They got wave tune that's similar to like, I think it's Melodyne, however you pronounce that. I only used it for like 1 week. They have the wave tune where you could do that and literally grab the vocal and put it into place. But I like doing the live singing better because then I could do like tricks and like experiment and all this other extra shit. And it's not really adding too much effect on my voice.
Fuck hiding everything.
You can make sure it's like
you do something, okay, you do it.
Set to
you
your
never
voice.
got lie about it. Just like with the singing stuff you're talking about. A microphone comes out or it gets unplugged on us, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, but I've been to some shows where if something went wrong with the computer and the band shut down and that vocal's still playing and nobody else is there.
3 nights in, I feel you, bro.
I'm not that guy. I'm not that guy. We're still the band that goes out with everybody that's running 20 tracks and we don't use one.
Oh wow.
we don't use none.
There should be slight corrections.
Cool, we don't.
You got to learn how to sing.
I've tried. Had not tried.
I tell people, do the live version. not the
Hey, bro, y'all hear Uncle Tracy, bro? Y'all better step y'all's
the
game
edit
up.
ain't gonna teach you shit.
But
if you're doing it live, you're gonna get better at
gone out and opened for
by default.
or went behind a really hot 4-piece band that's got hits on the radio. I'm not going to say names. And it sounds like there's a freaking orchestra on the stage, and then us 6 assholes walk out there and do what we do.
But what's cool is those people, they'll come up to us and be like, man, you guys, there's so much sound coming off that stage, and just to know that it's coming from your hands and your feet and, you know, your vocals, and know that it's not coming from a computer, it's just so refreshing and a breath of fresh air to them.
And the fans know.
Yeah. Oh, they know. They know. But I like to not be hand-tied. If I want to make a set change, and my light guy has to adjust to it, if you're running a whole bunch of tracks, you can't do that.
Bro, yes, I do a lot of punch-ins.
Do that, man.
I do a crazy amount of punch-ins because of my style. I don't write. So, like, the way I do it is I freestyle. I'll put a beat on, and then I'll sit there for like a few minutes, and then I'll just press the record button, and I'll do like 3 bars, and then I'll stop, and then I'll listen to it again, and then I'll just keep recording and seeing what I could come up with after my vocal, and then before I know it, the whole song is done. The last 3 to 4 years, all my songs have been done with like that, where I don't write anything and I'm just doing punch-ins. I'll record the 3 bars, maybe 4 bars, sit there and be like, okay, record again, and then listen to what I just said, and then just go in after what I just said. And then for some weird reason, it works perfectly, right? Especially when I'm doing R&B songs, man. That's the best way to record and write.
Remember when I started out, this is probably one of the craziest things, and I've told this story a few times, but when I was a teenager, and even before I came to Nashville and I was playing in a little circuit band, I'd taken poster board and color coded things. Like I had a pink one, a green one, a yellow one, and so I would laminate them. I had all my 2-step stuff on one. I had all my ballads and waltzes on one. I had my mid-tempos on one. I had all my rocking stuff on one. I would go on stage at the first set. We'd usually do 4 or 5 sets a night. I would tell you what the first 2 songs were. I'd throw them on the stage and I'd call them out.
Let the track build itself?
That was the way I played my show.
Hey man, dude, I take mine to the floor too, like that.
Well, I laminated them because I usually would spill beer on them.
Yeah.
When I'm in charge.
Up with your boots.
Absolutely. So
I don't like being told what to do.
I could reuse them.
Man, that's cool.
I hate that shit.
Man, I just want to say, you know, I know this.
That's why I hated producing for people and writing. I hate being told what to do. But if I'm in charge of the process, oh man, I'm making magic. I'm making magic, man. I have like the utmost confidence in myself as a producer or a songwriter, for sure. Like my ability to create and like put things together, 100%, fam. I love that process, right? And there's a lot of people that if you don't love that process, fam, you ain't gonna be an amazing artist. Not for the long term. You're gonna be one of those generic, just do whatever the label tell you what to do artists. And when you wonder why your music don't last forever, that's why.
Like, off subject, but I just want to say, like, it really is cool to me to sit here with somebody like you and talk about music in general. I just want to say that.
I appreciate it, bro.
Yes, sir.
I mean, I still love it. We all do. I'm passionate about it, man. This has been my life's journey.
100%.
I've dreamed about it since I was freaking this big. I remember singing Glenn Campbell and Charlie Pride songs when I was 4 years old, man. I mean, it goes that deep.
Who is your favorite country singer?
Man, it's 2 of them, and well, let me show you. This is my country music.
You got my glasses?
This is my country music Mount Rushmore. This is George Strait, George Jones, Keith Whitley, and Merle Haggard.
Keith Whitley, heck yeah, bro.
These are my guys.
That's cool.
And I could put a lot more on there. I could do Charlie Daniels, Waylon Jennings, and Willie. There's a whole nother list. But these were the guys that I really emulated. George was huge to me. Haggard was huge to me. I got to spend a lot of time with George Jones early on. I mean, he was the first big tour that I was on, so I spent the first couple of years out on the road, and I learned so much from him. He was so cool to me. I spent more time with George than anybody. I was a huge Whitley fan, but Whitley died like right before I came to Nashville.
It's an interesting ass interview right here.
You know, I've got to be friends with Lori and Jessica.
We definitely gonna have to part 2 this though. We're gonna have to part 2 this, man. 100%. We're gonna do another segment in the next live stream where we're gonna react to the second portion.
Keith and the family, and been tight with them for years. But I mean, so he was kind of the one that I never got to meet, man. I met all the rest of them. Man. You know, worworked with all the rest of them.
Who's the craziest? I'm sorry, hang on. I got some asking questions, bro. But I'm sitting there with Tracy Lawrence. You feel me? Dude, what's the craziest? What's the craziest thing you've ever seen? Like at a show, you're like, what the hell? What the hell just happened?
Wow.
I would like to know too.
That I did for somebody else.
Hey, shit, yeah, what you did?
What'd you do?
I gotta wait for a few more people to die before I tell all my stories.
Damn. He was wilding out there. That's hilarious. Yeah, we going part 2 of this. I'm gonna save this to the playlist in the next live stream. We're going to check this out. So if you're listening to this or watching this as the playback and edited version on my BX Beats Boy Extra channel, go and check out my BX Beats Boy Live channel so you can, stay up to date and get the news faster. But yes, fam, I'm going to part 2 this. It's a long interview, super long pause, but it seems like there's a lot of gems being dropped, man. So I can see why you wanted me to check it out and play it normal speed. So I'm going to check out the second part tomorrow, man. 100%. Thank you guys for sharing it with me. Shout out to Upchurch and Tracy Lawrence. Hey guys, hope you enjoyed watching the video. Now, if you have some extra time, can you do me a favor? Check out my music. I rap, I sing, and I make beats. All of that should be linked in the description. Also, if you want to watch me live stream, you can check me out on BX Beats Boy Live. That's another YouTube channel. It should be linked to my homepage. And you can check me out on Twitch and Rumble. I'm streaming on all these platforms, man. Trying to just get out there. Also, if you want to support me, you can sign up for my memberships on my channel, as well as my Patreon for as low as $1. You get exclusive access to a bunch of videos early before you even get it on YouTube, as well as videos that's not ever going to be on YouTube. Stuff that actually got me suspended and banned. It's kind of my anti-cancel culture fund for BX Beats Boy. You know what I mean? And it also helps me get resources for certain video essays and things of that nature. Check that out if you're able to. Follow me on Twitter, follow me on Instagram, and join my Discord if you are able to, man. The link should be somewhere within my description or somewhere on my channel. I would really love to see you there, man. That's where you get a chance to talk to me and the rest of my supporters, man. I appreciate you guys. Bang, gang, out.